Sie hören Sport und Musik.
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
Mario Götze! Mario Götze!
Tonight, whether you call it football, or soccer, a German American and a German in America dare to call it Fußball. German Fußball from an American point of view. Let's add some buns to that hamburger and join them for the Schnitzel Boys Deutschland Hour!
Yeah, that's it.
The Deutschland Hour.
That's what we're doing. Bundesliga is back.
Bundesliga is back. This is the first Bundesliga hour of the saison, of the season.
Yeah.
Bjorn, how did you, immediate responses, how did you feel about opening weekend in the Bundesliga?
Yeah, it was good. Felt
good. You said good?
Felt a lot like last year. Well, I mean, I guess I felt good in that so far my predictions are looking good. We're one game in. But there were certain things that I thought would happen that seemed to happen. So I don't know, but yeah, it was good. There was Leverkusen was doing their thing of the late victory. I guess that's later Kusen never losing.
That's the name of the episode.
We will see. Yeah. Bayern struggled to a victory, but were not convincing. Stuttgart really got creamed by Freiburg.
Yeah, that would be the one, like, if you had to be surprised by anything. There weren't huge surprises, but the Freiburg over Stuttgart is the one that you couldn't really predict. That was the one scoreline where I'm like, all right, that's of all the scorelines, that's the most surprising one, I felt.
Yeah, even though I did think that Stuttgart would struggle a little this season. So that's and then my team lost but looked pretty good actually, kind of weirdly. But I wonder if that's just going to be the season. A lot of moral victories, a lot of like, oh yeah, we lost, but not so bad. But it felt like, it felt like last season. It seems like there's not a lot of, it felt like Bayern, potentially good but shaky. Leverkusen, I guess defensively, there was something about their midfield that looked a little less solid. But I don't know, we'll see if that's a trend or if that was just rustiness. And St. Pauli looked awful against Heidenheim.
Yeah, it was a tough game to watch. I watched the whole thing.
seemed like they really are not ready for this. Yeah.
Yeah, no big surprises. Like you said, Stuttgart failed, but they also were rated this summer. So
yeah,
they're in a lot of ways they have more gelling to do. Where Bayer Leverkusen, their big story, which we mentioned last week, was they all stayed. Coach stayed, players stayed, stars stayed, everyone stayed. So they're ready for round two.
Even the Jonathan Tah thing seems to be dead now, right? I haven't heard anything. So it seems like Bayer Leverkusen are back to pick up right where they left off. I think someone like a Derek Ray and a couple of the pundits are predicting Leverkusen to win it back-to-back. I believe, is that what you said last week too? I did, yeah.
And it's looking like a good prediction. Because Leverkusen, again, they left it late. You know, they were there. I watched that game. It was Bayer Leverkusen Gladbach, right? Gladbach were leading 2-1 at one point, I believe, early in the second half. I want to say
it was
2-1, and then Leverkusen got an equalizer.
Oh right, because that one, the one, it was pretty late too. The 2-1.
They got an equalizer, and then they got their winner right at the death there. So it's like, well, that's what Bayer Leverkusen did all last year.
I guess
they're back at it again. From American point of view, which I think we didn't touch on hard enough last week, that's on me. As far as American watch, Borussia Mönchengladbach has the most consistent American in the Bundesliga, alongside Heidenheim. That's Joe Scally.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Scally played himself a game in Borussia Mönchengladbach. Can't really say.
Got a fear from from Kicker.
Out of what, 10?
Well, no, that's like barely passing.
Oh, yeah.
If you get it's from 1 to 6 and lower is better. So he's got a 4. That's like, it's ausreichend in the German. Kicker uses the German school grading system, and a 4 is ausreichend, means sufficient. Like you're just passing.
C-.
I mean, I've mentioned this before. My brother's a big Gladbach fan, and he
Right.
does not care whether Joe Scally lives or dies. Like, he's
Yeah, and that's on Joe Scally to
unimpressed.
change. That's on Joe Scally to change. He's young. But I do, this is an American podcast, so I do try to keep with an American point of view. But Gladbach did lose.
He's starting.
Leverkusen
He is
1-2.
starting. He is consistently starting.
He's playing. Gio Reyna, who was a big question mark, he got off the bench. He got minutes. So it's like, all right, he's getting back to his minutes again.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing about Gladbach, I would say, is not America related, but it's, they picked up, we talked about this last week, they picked up Kevin Stöger, who is an excellent crosser of the ball, and they picked up Kleindienst, who is an excellent header of the ball.
Right.
And it seems like that's potentially going to really be the gift that keeps on giving for them. Like that worked in this game, and that's going to work a lot, I think. Stöger to Kleindienst. And so good for them. I mean, obviously I'm a homer as far as Stöger goes. He was that one piece of quality that we had last year. And glad to see him do well in Gladbach.
Yeah, they both stepped right in the starting lineup, and they both contributed. I want to say, wasn't Stöger, he assisted the go-ahead goal, right?
The Stöger cross to Kleindienst.
It wasn't Stöger to. Well,
Stöger was the assister, and I think that's what I mean. Like that's gonna.
Okay,
I think that's gonna keep happening. Stöger to Kleindienst.
I should do this ahead of time. It was never 2-1. I don't know where I got that from. Granit Xhaka, Florian Wirtz, it was 2-0 at the half, and then it was 2-2 by the Clint.
Yeah, so it was 2-1 after Bayer Leverkusen.
For Bayer Leverkusen, not for Gladbach. I thought it was 2-1. Right. And then Tim Kleindienst from Stöger off. I believe it was a free kick, right? Got in the 85th. Then Florian Wirtz in 11th minute of stoppage time because they had that huge at the beginning of the second half.
And he missed it.
He missed the smoke.
Oh, right. And he missed a penalty, and then the goalie saved it, but it came right back to him, and he didn't even really celebrate much. He was just like, "Oh yeah, okay."
Boom. In and out, penalty rebound, and there you go. Bayer Leverkusen 3-2 with a late goal. That's how they're doing it. Is it going to be a lot more Leverkusen this year? I don't know. Nothing's changed. So Leverkusen going on strong. And then I was going to say, what do you want to? I mentioned let's go to the Dortmund game for the other American.
That was a fun.
Let's do it.
That was a fun game to watch. I thought.
And then rest of the roundup. Yeah. Let's see here. I clicked away. Borussia Dortmund had against Eintracht Frankfurt, who had a really strengthening summer, right? They spent a lot of money on players, and you said last week Eintracht Frankfurt is a statement summer. They're having a statement season,
right? Well,
in Dortmund, in front of the yellow wall at the Fortress, under the new coach Nuri Sahin. Jamie Gittens, Bruno Gittens, Bino Gittens.
No more Bino. No more Bino. He's now Jamie Gittens. That's his new and that seems to have really worked for him. The new name. He
got him a brace.
He looked good. Yeah. Now, I will say though, this game, obviously if you look on paper, this is a easy win for Dortmund, but this was a close game. The first first goal of Jamie Gittens, he scored that right basically 40 seconds after Frankfurt had a huge opportunity.
Right.
Where I forgot who it was. But like basically just had to direct it into the wide open goal in front of him and couldn't do it. I mean, it was a difficult cross. It came at him quickly, but like certainly he would have love to have that back. So, and then right after that, Jamie Gittens scored really kind of on his own. He kind of smoked Robin Koch, former Leeds United player who had a good game up to that point, but like he got smoked and he scored, and then he scored again late. So, but this was a pretty tight game, and Frankfurt were looking good.
Yeah, and the thing with Gio Reyna and last year was he's on the bench, and when Dortmund were always leading up by a goal, Gio, which was usually the case, Dortmund always was like 1 up with 10 minutes to go. That's like the Borussia Dortmund swan song. And in that scenario, it was always a time for a defensive substitution. That's why Gio Reyna never really got on the field. He was really just there for when they were trailing. However, on the opening game under Nuri Sahin, they were up a goal with 10 minutes left, and that was when Gio Reyna got on the field, which is a different type. Usually when it's like they're protecting a lead and it's later in the game, Gio stays his butt on the bench. But no, that was an opportunity for him to get on the bench, and it was rewarded because then Borussia Dortmund, Gio Reyna did an effective pass up top. Not to say he led to anything, but it immediately led to them. They ended up the game 2-0, so it was like an aggressive substitution, and it panned out because they finished 2-0. So that's a positive sign of maybe Gio getting some minutes. We'll see.
I was surprised to even see him come on because it was kind of my understanding.
There was a report that he quote unquote impressed well in training because it's a new coach.
Okay.
It's not Terzic.
But he didn't get any time really in preseason, right? And he was so I thought like he's not even on the squad. So then not only was he in the game day squad, but he even got on. So that was I thought it was unexpected. But yeah, and he looked pretty good, had a couple good passes. I mean, is it glass half full, glass half empty? I guess it's like, Jamie Gittins, that was his competition. They were kind of same age, same general area, and he's clearly ahead of him now. They were for a while they were kind of on even footing, and now Jamie has moved ahead. So there's that if you want to be pessimistic, but he came on. So new coach Nuri Sahin is a very emotional guy on the sideline. He was losing his shit for most of the game, freaking out.
Hey, Jürgen Klopp 2.0.
But yeah, he was. It was exciting, and Adeyemi as the lone number 9 did not work at all for them. That lasted when did he come off? 60th minute, and then Gittins came in for Adeyemi, and that was a big change because that's not a thing. I think we need. They're waiting.
Maxi Baya. It's Maxi.
The Mecca Maxi Baya was I guess not ready, and they still have some injuries. But yeah, the midfield is looking good. By the way, the guy I misspoke earlier, the guy who got smoked was not Robin Koch, but his former fellow Leeds United teammate Christensen, the Danish guy. He really had a great game on the right side until that one time. So I think Frankfurt also, as advertised, look pretty strong. They have a pretty strong back line. And Pascal Gross looked good for Dortmund. Yeah, 2-5. I mean, that game I thought really delivered two teams that are looking to get in there up top and aggressively, like you pointed out last week, aggressively have got some reinforcements and are looking exciting. So I'll be watching.
Yeah, both teams had big summers, and Gio Reyna came on for Emre Can, which is interesting because it's a whole new midfielder off for more of an attacking-minded player. So it was a very aggressive move from Nuri Sahin, and it paid off. Very risky, but it worked. So good for Dortmund. All the big teams this weekend opened with a win. There was no, I guess Stuttgart did not because we put them in the Elite Five. But as far as Dortmund, Leipzig, Bayern, and Leverkusen goes, all 4 of them opened the weekend with a win. So Borussia Dortmund down. Now looking over to, do you want to hop into the Bayern München game?
I did not. I only saw highlights. So take it away.
I watched the Bayern München game. It was in Wolfsburg. Hasenhüttl and team captain Maximilian Arnold both commented on the lack of energy from their home fans. Shocking. In
Wolfsburg, such a hotbed of passion, of soccer passion.
And then, and it wasn't, I think it was technically a sellout, but it wasn't really as much a full house as they wanted. And, but Wolfsburg did really well. It was 2-2. Oh, this is the one where it was 2-1 for Wolfsburg. I mean, that's really Wolfsburg, it was 1-0 at the half, but then in the first 10-15 minutes of the second half, it was 2-1 Wolfsburg. They came out swinging, but then let me click around here. So I have so many windows open. But Bayern München came in there. Jamal Musiala with was it the equalizer? No, it was.
No, he
It was
scored
an own
first.
goal. Own
He
goal
scored
with the equalizer.
Musiala scored first.
Own goal with the equalizer, and Serge Gnabry there towards the end getting the winner. And then a brace from Maya. They called him Maya. That's I don't know. Lovro Mayer. So Maya in Germany. But expected 3-2 win, but it had that Bayern Druzzle, right? That last minute sort of Bayern luck.
Yeah.
And when you look at the Bayern, just like last year, it's like, all right, we're playing, but I don't know, do we look amazing? But they got their three points, and despite and they won 4-0 in the Pokal. I think they've won all the preseason games. They've yet to lose. So right now, Bayern München are plugging away. But are they blasting people away the way they want them to? No, it's still a process. And the young Vincent Kompany, as I believe Derek Ray called him or whatever, he's still young. Vincent
Company.
He's got his first W in the Bundesliga as Bayern coach.
Yeah. I guess in terms of just how they set up, the big news is that Kimmich is back in midfield. Him and Pavlovic kind of are sort of the double pivot now. Which I'm pretty high on Pavlovic. I'm not as high on Kimmich in that position. So
but they brought in Joao Palhinha this summer.
Right. So he has not. Right. So he has not.
He didn't see the field. He was unused sub.
He wasn't. He's not ready, I guess. So yeah, we'll see how that shakes out. We had Sasha Bue was on played at right back.
Right, and he had a rough. He came in last winter. Yeah, he came in last winter. Had a rough season, rough debut. But he came off. I think he had a solid debut this season. I think. Kingsley Coman.
Well, Kicker's giving him also ausreichend.
The Joe Scally score.
He's got the same score as Joe Scally.
You got the Scally. You got Scally. Well, I guess you got to go up a little bit from there. You got to go up a little bit from there. Him and Kim both off the field.
Kim got taken out in the 81st for Eric Dyer, who I guess that's just, we're figuring that out. Who's going to be the...
Yeah, Kim's big mistake is what led to the go-ahead goal for Wolfsburg. So Kim also would like to have maybe had a better performance. Kingsley Coman is on the chopping block. He has stressed he wants to find a new club, so he might lose yet another piece of the Bayern München pot. So a win.
Goretzka on the bench, but he's also really clear not in the plans. Joao Palhinha is going to fit in there. Konrad Laimer was a favorite of mine. Workhorse in the midfield, but he is currently not first choice. So, yeah, I'm sure this is all there's gonna be more changes. I mean, Musiala was good. Harry Kane looked good.
Yeah.
They're getting good marks from kicker Michael Olise or Olise. How's Derek Ray? What does Derek Ray call him?
I don't remember. I think Olise.
Olise?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's new there on the right wing. Gnabry is a starter. I guess Sané, he's still hurt. So it's early days.
But, I mean, look at this lineup. They just have a plethora of players. I mean, like I said, on the bench, also Thomas Muller's still coming off the bench. Machias Tel is still on the bench.
Yeah.
Goretzka's unused on the bench. Rafael Guerrero's unused on the bench. So they've got firepower.
And Pavlovic is gonna, if he keeps developing like he has been, he's gonna really be huge for them as in that position, and he's really gonna fortify their defense, which did not work out yet in this particular game, but I think long term that's going to be good.
All right, in the chat we've got complaints about Mainz. Mainz played Union Berlin. Union Berlin featuring an unused, was even in the thing. No, he played a full 90. Jordan Pifak started and played a full 90 for Union Berlin against Mainz. I'm trying to think. I did not see this game, unfortunately. I should, because of our Mainz
The
follows. but here in
American
the
watch and the American watch.
Yeah, well, like I said, Jordan Pifak had himself a full 90. From Seba S., Mainz, we could have won, but we were lacking Gruda and especially Leandro Barreto. We would have won if we had them on our team. Yeah, well, that's Leandro Barreto was a key figure 2 seasons ago, right? Where did he? Just how the loop I am. Where did he end up, Seba? Teach us a little bit. Is Leandro Barreto? He's gone, right?
Yeah, and we have that new look Union Berlin lineup.
Benfica. He went to Benfica over the summer.
Benfica.
Oh yeah, he was a big stuff on Benfica.
Yeah, a lot of new names. A lot of people left. This is a really overhauled Union Berlin lineup. Bo Svensson has a bunch of new. Yeah, I mean, and Jordan Pifak he got a kicker giving him a 5.
Hey, what's that?
That's
that in
bad.
German?
That's a failing grade if you get a 5.
He seemed ineffective, but he's just getting off. He's come off a loan from Gladbach where he was injured, and he's just getting off. Let's hope he gets back to his scoring ways and gets back to stepping in and doing his thing. Mainz, we had Burkhardt, we had Lee. Who do you think performed the most admirably, Seba? Tell us on the chat the good things you can say about this Mainz.
Yeah, what do you like about your team? Yeah, I guess a home draw against Union Berlin is not how you want to start the season. If you're looking to have a relaxed, non-relegation threatened season, that's not how you want to start. But yeah.
And he wants a couple signings. Still have a couple days till the window. We still have about, I think, 5 days left in the German window, so we'll see what happens.
And so, as we all expected, Freiburg tops the table after after match day 1
with Julian. What's his name's first debut after replacing Christian Streich? Julian Schuster.
So far, so good. He would like the season to end today.
Yeah, and then Hernes talks about Stuttgart rebuild. So Stuttgart, I guess, is already in rebuild mode.
He's already calling it a rebuild. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're already it's already conceded.
And Julian Schuster getting off to a great start. So good for Freiburg. VfB Stuttgart. Who knows? Maybe they'll be in a relegation battle this year. We'll see. Well, who knows? There's such a question.
Feast or famine in Stuttgart.
Feast or famine.
They're going to be the Union Berlin of the new year.
Heidenheim had an American, German American, but American nonetheless.
Oh,
named Leonard Maloney, who played
Leonard Maloney, yeah, who I met.
What was his number? What was his number?
I met him in Hartford, Connecticut. I saw him in person.
Oh, when he was part of the German. Oh, he was part of the U.S. national team.
Yeah,
playing against Germany. Oh, this was
I don't think. Yeah, I guess he came off the bench briefly. Yeah.
But anyway, Zampoli looked bad. I watched this game. Zampoli had nothing. They were really excited. The stadium was in it. They were cheering. It was like, yay, this is a big deal for us. But you can tell their coach and their key player from last year are gone. They had a really rough game. Didn't seem like they had much of a game plan at all. And little Heidenheim, which traditionally is a smaller club than Zampoli, bossed them and showed them who the Bundesliga is.
And you predicted they would struggle this year, but so far so good. So far so good.
But hold on, it's just Zampoli. So we'll see.
Leonard Maloney gets a 3.5 from kicker, which is extremely average.
Hey, but it's 0.5 better than Scally.
0.5 better than Scally. That's true.
What would the name be for?
Befriedigend. 3.5. 4 ist ausreichend. Eine 3 ist befriedigend, which would be satisfactory.
So he's half satisfactory.
He's halfway between sufficient and satisfactory.
That should be on his agent. That should be on his resume. Maloney, from sufficient to satisfactory. Leonard Maloney, week in, week out.
Yeah, it's just anyway.
But hey, he logged in and we're looking for a holding mid with Tyler Adams out front. So Maloney, you're up, bud. You're up there. But 2-0 confident win from Heidenheim. And then that was also Bayern and Heidenheim were the 2 Sunday games. Right. We did Dortmund, we did Mainz, and then we did Freiburg.
Yeah, I mentioned Bochum already.
They fought hard. They got a red card there at the end there, right?
Yeah, there were some. I still think this squad is very thin. I've said this, but it seemed like Peter Zeidler got a lot out of them. This was not a. I mean, they showed some real life, and they got a gift from goalie Golashi at some point that they unfortunately were not able to accept the gift. Got to scratch off the line by a defender. But overall, I thought there was real life to that team. And even though there is not a lot of quality and not a lot of, but they were very, I mean, they have a new DB mid in Sissoko. I mean, the midfield, it's a slow midfield. There really isn't a lot of quality. We got a new center back on loan last second, but the fullbacks, both Paslak and Vitek, looked really lively, and I think that's going to make a big difference. But yeah, Leipzig was not. This was a pretty well played game on their part. But we'll have to see how that. I mean, but then again, of course, Leipzig is the much better team, and they deserve to win. Willi Orban got the late red card on a dog so foul, and Leipzig, they have a good team. Xavi Simons is still there. Zesko is still there. Openda is still there. They kept a lot of people. Kevin Campbell got the start, somewhat surprisingly, on their end. But this kid Nusa came off the bench, and he scored. He scored to win.
Yeah, but if I'm RB Leipzig, a 1-0 home win over Bochum, losing with Willi Orban is not the worst opener, but not the best opener.
Yeah, for sure.
It would be if I'm RB Leipzig, the opener is, what's the word for sufficient again?
Befriedigend.
Yeah, no, the one underneath that.
Oh, ausreichend. Yeah, ausreichend.
If I'm RB Leipzig, I say ausreichend opener. Ausreichend opener for them.
Yeah, those are
Bochum came in strong.
Yeah.
And then I just want to quick. I always sleep on this guy. I would say after Joe Scally, the second most regular American in the league is Kevin Paredes at Wolfsburg, right? He is injured, I believe, so he's out for a bit. But when he's healthy, I'm expecting to have a bigger part of Wolfsburg's plans. Just want to bring that up from the Americans' perspective. So you have Leonard Maloney at Heidenheim, Kevin Paredes at Wolfsburg, Gio Reyna at Dortmund, Jordan Pifak at Union Berlin. And then Joe Scally at Borussia Mönchengladbach. That's sort of like the key Americans I can think of. But the most key American, I guess, in a lot of ways, if he still considers himself American, is a Pellegrino Matarazzo.
If he still considers himself American. After turning down the national team job, his citizenship has been revoked. He can now choose between Italy and Germany. Residence and what his name sounds like are his new options for citizenship. He's been downgraded.
Well, apparently he's under increased scrutiny this year, but he is something we didn't bring up last week. He is, I believe, the longest tenured coach in the Bundesliga. Did you know that?
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess speaks to the turnover everywhere else more than his own longevity. Wait, no, but what about Frank? What about the Heidenheim guy? He's got everybody beat.
No. Oh, well, in the top flight, we're talking about.
The most
Pellegrino
years.
was head coach at Stuttgart and then head coach at Hoffenheim. I think 4 or 5 seasons straight he's been the head coach in the Bundesliga.
Oh, so he's the
He's the champion right now. No, because with Christian Streich stepping down and everybody else being fired and whatnot.
He's changed teams, and Frank Scholz has been in Heidenheim forever. But yeah, they haven't been in the Bundesliga that whole time. Yeah,
Frank Schmidt.
Frank Schmidt,
right? It's not
you're probably right.
Yeah, he was been in Heidenheim because it's 2007, but that's only one season in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, they were in the Kreisklasse when he took them over, basically.
Yeah. So, but anyway, he's under increasing scrutiny, so much so that his star player Andre Kramaric had to come on Instagram to be like, "I support him, I support the team," blah blah blah. Because the rumors that he did not, and Andre Kramaric awarded his coach with a hat trick over the weekend. Hoffenheim winning 3-2, all 3 goals.
That's the kind of support any coach can get behind.
That's right.
Instagram Schminstagram, but
yeah, you need that hat trick.
If you put a hat trick up, that is support.
Holstein Kiel's first ever Bundesliga game ends a 3-2 loss against Hoffenheim in Sinsheim, the home stadium of Hoffenheim, with Pellegrino Matarazzo. getting a win. John Brooks no longer with Hoffenheim, still a free agent, I believe. Curious. We're still on Brooks watch. Curious what happens to John Brooks.
The Brooks heads.
The Brooks heads. And then I guess last but not least is a 2-2 game between Augsburg and Werder Bremen in Augsburg.
Oh, yeah.
2-2. I have no thoughts. It's just a good tie, a good solid tie for both of these guys. There you go.
Yeah, both part of the gray area in midfield.
Yeah,
the large gray
grays,
area.
man.
The large gray area in midfield. Yeah, I mean that was right. What did I say last time? There's the top three: Leverkusen, Bayern, Dortmund. Then there's the three chasing teams: Leipzig, Frankfurt, and Stuttgart. Although Stuttgart have already perhaps
Conceded. We'll see. They might be a
have
relegation.
included
contender.
themselves out from that group, and so they have perhaps also joined the
Well, it's only
gray,
the opening weekend. It's only the
the
opening
big
weekend.
gray area of the midfield. Yeah, and everybody, and then there's a couple of I said St. Pauli, Kiel, and Bochum were the candidates for.
Here we go with
relegation.
Sebas. What do you think?
Everybody is in the gray midfield.
St. Pauli and Heidenheim definitely over opening weekend have some growing pains to do. Or not. Maybe they like to go to Fort from, or who was it last year? The Darmstadt. You know, there's a club that just isn't ready for this league. Maybe this year it's two of them. Maybe it's St. Pauli and Heidenheim. No, not Heidenheim. Holstein Kiel. Sorry.
Holstein
St. Pauli
Kiel,
and
yeah.
Holstein Kiel. Heidenheim, Bochum, and Mainz. I don't know. Bochum are scrappy. Mainz, I think, are going to have an improved season. I know it was a home tie, but it's only the opening weekend. And Heidenheim, it was St. Pauli, so maybe they're still kicking it. Maybe my prediction of them having a sophomore slump is misguided. But again, only opening weekend.
We'll
Gotta
see.
figure it out.
I mean,
But-
Broschinski and Philipp Hoffmann up top for Bochum will not score a ton of goals, so we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes. But Bundesliga 1 wasn't the only thing happening this weekend. We also have a new segment here, which I, again, do not have a drop for. I'll make it for next week. But here at the Schnitzel Boys, we're doing this for you, Hans Wolf, and for you, David Riccio.
Struberwatch.
Struberwatch. Should be Struber. Could be Quatsch. Struberquatsch. Struberquatsch. I'm thinking Darüber mit Gerhard Struber. Does that work? Kind of.
Oh, yeah, maybe we'll make it work.
We're still coming up with a name.
Persistence will make it work.
You prefer Struberwatch?
That I just came up with that. I don't know. That's how he would say watch. How he would say watch. He would say watch.
I have the boys. Struber. Anyway, FC Köln this weekend, under the tutelage of New York Red Bulls famed Gerhard Struber, won 5-0 over the weekend. Good for them. 5-0 ain't no easy feat, especially in the zweiten Bundesliga.
Well, but time will tell if this is about Köln or if it's about Braunschweig being bad, because they have lost every game so far.
Well, but also give it to Köln. Köln, I believe, has won and tied. They haven't lost a game yet under Struber. Am I wrong? Let me do the things here. Because they won over the week. No, yeah, they beat. They won. They beat Köln.
They lost
beat
to Hamburg.
Eishockey.
They lost to HSV first.
Oh, right, on
This
the
was-
opening day. Of course, they tied. So it was a loss and a tie, but
This
they won
was their
in the
first
Pokal,
win. This was their first league win.
and it was quite the win.
It was quite the win, however, against the team that has lost every game this season.
Luka Waldschmidt with a goal. Remember him? And then next week they got Schalke. So they're at Schalke, which will be a bigger, better test. Köln, not Schalke. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so many teams in my head. It's hard for me to. I need to that's why I have to check. I remember Hamburg. They had that good game against Hamburg in the opening weekend. But Köln with a 5-0 win over the weekend. Köln bouncing right back up under Gerhard Struber to be a Bundesliga coach.
Yeah, in the Super League, in the true Super League, no less.
Well, like I said, Köln versus Schalke next week in Bundesliga 2. Erste Liga, it's Holstein Kiel versus FC Heidenheim. The bigger stadiums. I wonder if the average attendance. I mean, this can't be because teams like Bayern München are still in the top flight. But I wonder if the average attendance is higher in the second Bundesliga than the first Bundesliga, because it seems like on average their clubs might have larger capacity stadiums. You know what I mean? Between St. Pauli and Heidenheim and Kiel and even places like
Well, I
Hoffenheim.
mean, but there is, yeah. I don't know. I guess this is a good question. What do Hamburg and Hertha, and Schalke? How many people come
Well,
to
no,
those games?
not Hertha, but Hamburg's usually a good crowd. They still come. Nuremberg, when I was at the Nuremberg game last year, it was packed, full house. The team, Fortuna Düsseldorf, you saw. I mean, those houses were packed. They're at 50, 60,000 seater stadium.
Yeah.
So
Kaiserslautern, I bet, is full.
Right.
But then there's the Paderborns and the Greuther Fürths and the Preußen Münsters. So I think it all averages out to perhaps less than. But it is an interesting. I mean, it is the true Super League, man. This is like in 1978. These are all top teams.
That's right. Before I was born, before little Stefan was born. Those are the big days. But there you go. That's the Bundesliga. Again, a fun opening weekend. Good to see the games again. Everyone's out and about. Hot, toasty German weekend. But no major surprises. Just
it was hot, I guess. People kept saying. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, here in LA, it's hot. Crummy River. It's desert summer heat right now. It's 80s, 90s. Crummy
River. It's raining in New York right now. Actually,
I wish we could have rain.
Perhaps has stopped.
Are you looking up to your roof to see if
I'm looking up to the skylight, see if I can get any indication.
Ooh, fancy skylight. I like that. Okay, so that's the Bundesliga news. I'm on Stuttgart Watch. Bochum scrappy as ever, but nothing major. But there was some movement in the German national team front we didn't really talk about last week. Oh yeah, we need a new midfield. That's right. Why do we need a new midfield, Bjorn?
Because
USA
Ilkay
26?
Gündoğan is no longer has retired, as well as Manuel Neuer. Not like Manuel Neuer was going to play the midfield, but he said goodbye. And obviously Toni Kroos is retired altogether. Gündoğan, by the way, back to Man City, kind of shockingly. Barcelona can't register Dani Olmo. And so they're like, we just need we would like somebody to leave. And
I like how Barcelona news is mainly just they can't register players.
Can't register players.
It's a guy. It's like me. I'm used to it because I'm always throwing $5 around in all my different checking accounts to get enough together to buy like a value meal, you know. But I wouldn't expect Barcelona to do that as well when it comes to
they do this. They move the same 78 million around back and forth. So yeah, but I guess Pep Guardiola was happy to take Gündoğan back. They had they've got some room in the midfield for him. I guess he's probably going to come off the bench, but. Yeah, he's not playing for the national team. Toni Kroos is retired, so yeah, and
Thomas Muller's retired.
Thomas Muller is gone from the Nationalelf. So I guess this is Marc-Andre ter Stegen's big moment finally after years of waiting.
Yeah.
But the new midfield, that really is a big question mark because we haven't had we had Andrich and Pavlovic, but they're both more sixes. And who's going to take over? Leon Goretzka is not. He's fallen way down the depth chart. So that's going to be interesting to see.
Leonard Maloney, maybe they'll try to get him back and
He's going to change. He's going to.
Maybe Malik Tillman. They'll try to Germanify Malik and Timothy Tillman. Try to grab their German passports back. Maybe.
Yeah, that could happen, but probably not.
Yeah. But it's definitely room for Pascal Gross is not retired yet, so he's still
Pascal Gross could get more time. I don't know if Kimmich is going to move back into the midfield for the national team as well, mirroring his transition at the club level. So we'll see. I mean, obviously there's a little time now, but we gotta unlike these last Euros, we are going to have to qualify. So there's going to be some real games.
And up to these last Euros, there were some real vets they could lean on, which they did. But the vets are all gone. They can't. I mean, maybe Gündoğan can reconsider his decision a few months down the line. But Gündoğan will be 35 in the next World Cup. He's no spring chicken. It is time for someone new to step up. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. Like I said, will Kimmich slip into that 6 again? Will Goretzka arise as a number 8 again? Will a new guy off the scene show up? We'll see. Our midfield definitely is under midfield watch for the next 2 years, and that is Julian Nagelsmann's big, I think, assignment is trying to figure out that dang midfield, just like you said.
We're going to get a look at this soon. International break's coming up. We're going to play Hungary and Holland. on the 7th of September and the 10th of September, respectively. So we'll get a sense. When does I guess World Cup qualification doesn't start until next fall, right? Probably. Yeah.
No. It's got to start now. Are we sure Hungary and Holland aren't qualifying games?
I'm pretty sure. Hold on.
Because it's usually a 2-year cycle, right? I mean, usually people are qualified by next fall, aren't they? Yeah.
Let's see. These are things we can find out.
Via the Google.
The European section will act as qualifiers, blah, blah, blah. 16 slots available. So
it's expanded this year. It's the 48 team
March.
So.
We're going to start in March.
So it's going to be March to November, pretty much.
Teams will be drawn into groups of 5. And they're going to either start in March or in June of 2025. So, yeah, it's next year. Unless they play in the UEFA Nations League. Do we remember who was in the semifinals of the UEFA Nations League? I don't.
No one remembers.
But we can find that out too. Oh, they have to. Oh, we don't know yet. Huh? What?
But qualifying
because
is
the
in the
Nations
year.
League. Okay, because the Nations League. Oh, these are Nations League games. That's what this is.
Right.
And so we are in a group with Netherlands, Hungary, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. It seems unfair to have to play 2 countries in one game, Bosnia and Herzegovina. But I don't make the rules.
Hey, if the USA can play St. Kitts and Nevis,
so we have
Germany can handle Bosnia and Herzegovina.
We have 5 countries in a group of 4. But so this is a Nations League.
Totally unrelated to the World Cup. It's not our qualifiers.
I guess it just depends. If you make it to the semifinals of that, your World Cup qualification starts later.
Question, Bjorn.
Yes.
In 5 years' time, do you think the Nations League will still be a thing?
Yeah. I mean, I think there are a lot of intelligent...
Quick, Bjorn, who's defending champion? Quick.
No, but that's not the point. They are glorified friendlies. And Thomas Müller has said this, but I mean, I think at least the format is solid, in my opinion, compared to things like the Leagues Cup or things that we have.
As an American, my problem with the Nations League is it is limiting European teams to only play other European teams, when the rest of the world, like Asia and Africa and the United States, really needs these windows to go to Europe and play European teams. Just it helps their programs. And the Nations League essentially shutting everybody out. So
yeah, but I mean that's their problem, It's
like but it's quite a problem.
It's not
American.
But it's not Europe's responsibility to lift everybody else, help everybody get better. That's not their agenda.
Germany is playing Hungary and Holland. The United States is playing Panama and Canada or something. I don't know who are someone interesting. Maybe Mexico. I forgot who we're playing. We're just playing the same old neighbors because we had really not much of a choice. So, but yeah, that's not. You're right. That's not a European problem.
But it helps the smaller. The sort of stratification of the Leagues Cup helps the smaller nations. They have.
Nations League. Stop calling it Leagues Cup. It's called
Nations League.
Leagues Cup is some
Leagues
MLS,
Cup is the other thing. Leagues Cup is the thing that we don't like. Nations League is...
you put them up to each other.
I'm pimping the Nations League over Leagues Cup.
Yeah, I'd much rather watch the Nations League than Leagues Cup. Trust me. But anyway, so that's up the German national team. Midfield watch, Julian Nagelsmann has quite the assignment, and it'll be very interesting to see what they do against Hungary and Holland coming up. Last bit of news is a little bit of sad news. Bundesliga's famous cokehead.
Oh my God!
Christoph Daum. Is that rude? Should I not?
Can't
Don't
even.
Speak ill of this. Don't
he
speak
died. He
He
died.
passed away.
And that's
70,
the thing.
Right?
That's the thing you lead with.
Well, I thought it was a really fun story, and I thought he was shafted. He blamed the higher ups at Bayern Munich for setting him up, and it was a whole fun story. But a great Bundesliga coach, Christoph Daum, long time Bayer Leverkusen, I think Köln coach before that, right?
Yeah, Köln. That was his coming out
part.
It was, and he was just a keeping it real kind of guy. He was always his press conferences were always entertaining, and and he was going to be the national coach, except for his cocaine
He
habit.
failed a coke test, and I think that was he blamed like Bayern Munich higher ups who knew that to kind of like set him up because like do you even do a drug and like how would they know? And then he kind of left Germany after that. He was a longtime coach in Turkey after that, But Christoph
Well, it
Daum
was a
a
whole.
great coach.
It was a whole thing. Like he very aggressively fought back against these allegations, but then was ultimately proven to be, that was not
Yeah, the
it's
tests were
not the
positive,
case. He
so.
was he ended up.
Well, how will
he-
you? How will you remember him? What's his legacy, Christoph Daum?
Well, I remember him. I was a big Köln fan as a child, so I'll remember him as a coach of Köln who was at the time he was in a way he was kind of perhaps the groundbreaker for people like Julian Nagelsmann or people who are not who are younger who were kind of younger coaches. And and that was kind of unusual. When I was a kid, everybody was old. Like all the Bundesliga coaches had gray hair and he was just sort of younger, more dynamic. He was more outspoken, and just an interesting, entertaining guy. And
30
that's how I remember.
He was 33 when he took over the.
Yeah, that was very unusual at the time.
Right in '86, the year I was born. And he had no senior playing experience before they played for FC Köln 2. He was a reserve player that became a coach. Kind of not dissimilar to like a Jürgen Klopp. I guess Jürgen Klopp was a senior player for a while. But he was the Köln coach, then Stuttgart for a long time, then Besiktas.
Oh no, Klopp was a legit
He was a
player
top
for
player,
Mainz.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. So I guess it's not the same. But and then by Leverkusen for 4 years, leading them up to 2000, the early prime Leverkusen. And then that's when all that stuff happened. Then he went to Turkey and Austria and Turkey. Oh, and then he was the Köln coach from 06 to 09. But that might have been the second Liga, right? Or am I wrong? Köln fans in the chat. And he was the Eintracht Frankfurt coach in 2011. Okay, so he did come back to Germany for a bit. And his last job was he was the Romanian national team coach through 2016.
No, he brought them back. He brought them back to the Bundesliga.
Oh, well, then there you go. So he did have his comeback. Shows you how out of the loop I was with Christoph Daum. And for Köln heads in the audience, I'm sure he's a big idol at that club. A terrible loss. Rest in peace, Christoph Daum.
Yeah, lung cancer. He was a big smoker. Never looked super healthy. I mean, that's definitely true.
Hey, he died at 70, and he was an athlete. So, he lived times hard and fast. Rest in peace, Christoph Daum. Okay, next week, the Bundesliga fixtures are. I just said that out loud without actually thingy. Let's do some quick predicts before we get out of here. Next week is Union Berlin hosting FC St. Pauli on Friday for the punk rock derby. I'm probably going to give that one to Union Berlin, right? Unless St. Pauli have a big bounce back.
I mean, they can't lose every game, but maybe.
I got to figure it out. And then Saturday, Werder Bremen hosts Borussia Dortmund. I think I'll give that one to Borussia Dortmund. Holstein Kiel hosting Wolfsburg. Who do you give that one to? Wolfsburg, right?
Probably.
Stuttgart hosting Mainz. Seba, it's a big one for you. This is, Mainz is smelling blood. Stuttgart aren't what they were last season. Can Mainz get a smash grab victory
And
in Stuttgart?
that's the derby. Yeah, they're close to each other. So.
And then Frankfurt hosting Hoffenheim. Got to give that one to Frankfurt. Bochum hosting Gladbach. The Bellenbaum battle. Bjorn versus his
That's
brother.
true. Right.
Battle of the Bellenbaums. Battlebaum. Battlebaum. I'm going to say Joe Scally gets a hat trick.
What?
And he gets a 1 from kicker as like what would be 1?
Sehr
Super?
gut. Here's if you want to know, it's 1 through 6. 1, sehr gut. 2, gut. So very good and good. 3, we already said, is befriedigend, satisfactory. 4 is ausreichend, sufficient. 5 is mangelhaft, faulty. And 6 is ungenügend, insufficient.
I'm good. Let's go for a goot for Joe Scally. Let's go for a goot.
He's going to get a goot. Well, if he gets a goot, then we lose that game, probably.
Well, yeah.
If Broshinsky scores on him, no good for Joe Scally. Well, I mean, the home crowd is gonna be called upon yet again to push their undermanned.
Will Goretzka be there with the old Faber-Castell shirt on in the crowd?
I guess Bayern playing Sunday, so maybe.
Maybe it might be available. Leverkusen hosting RB Leipzig. That'll be a good one because RB Leipzig has some real quality. But will Leverkusen get a late winner? We'll see. Heidenheim hosting Augsburg. Also interesting because, we'll see. It'll be a good test to see how Heidenheim is, I think, in their
And then das Spitzenduell. Bayern playing the juggernaut first place team SC Freiburg.
Yeah, that'll be fun. In Bayern München for their season opener because they were in Wolfsburg over the weekend. Yeah, and Freiburg good to go. So another good test for Bayern München. That is the game. I still think Bayern München will pull it off. And between Heidenheim and Augsburg, let's say a draw. I think a draw for that one. And there you go. That is the next week in the games. Bundesliga's back, baby. Starting with new season. Will Leverkusen return their title? Will Bayern München be better under Vincent Company?
Vincent Company.
Vincent Company. Will Borussia Dortmund's kids like Maxi Bayer do well? Will Gio Reyna get significant minutes? Will Joe Scally be sehr good for Borussia Mönchengladbach? All that and more. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Yeah, we will talk about it all.
The 2024-2025 Bundesliga, baby! It's bis dann, bis nächste Woche. But if you want to talk about the Leagues Cup and the Great Columbus Crew,
and the back
and the
nine,
Rebels,
MLS back nine.
And the back nine, stick around. We're going to talk USA Hour in just a minute over the other stream. But if not, bis dann. Tschüss, bis nächste Woche.
Bis nächste Woche.